Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Francine, and this is my channel, The Hermetic Herald, here for another channeled message for you guys. I may have to make a quick stop and walk out if my baby is waking up, so I just want to let you guys know. Of course, I'll edit it out, but if you guys see cuts, that's why. I wanted to see if I could get some time in to focus in on Niall Horan. I feel like this card is for him. They're telling me 1, 2, 3. Well, 3. What's up with that? 4. Interesting. And we're gonna see what else comes through. I feel like Spirit wants me to start right away. So if you're new to my channel, I tend to channel clairaudiently primarily, and I go by what my spirit team is telling me. So they'll tell me like a number of shuffles, and they'll tell me to pick a certain card without seeing it, of course. So let's keep going. I want to touch base on Niall Horan. As I stated earlier, I want to look at his current situation, which will be the first card here. I'd like to look at his mask, how he perceives, how he wants people to perceive him, as well as his self-image with number 3 here. And then we're going to look at his obstacles. For some reason, obstacles were larger. We're going to keep going, though. I feel like I should, Spirit. Yeah, we're going to go into his trajectory, and then we're going to go into a whole different side of this. First thing we're going to do is look at the bottom of the deck, which is the 7 of Wands in reverse, the 3 of Wands, and the 4 of Swords. So usually when you see the 7 of Wands, that can denote the energy of being very defensive, right? Defensive of what you have, defensive of your abilities, defensive of whatever you claim is yours. That could be your own personal power, that could be your money, that could be a number of things. Standing your ground against offenders or oppressors. This can come from just a lifetime of feeling like you've had to, thus far, protect yourself from people that were trying to hold something that was yours hostage. So I feel like this defensiveness is coming through for now. He was very defensive of his ventures, defensive of what he pursued. He was very much standing his ground. He was not letting anyone tell him differently. And with the last card being the 4 of Swords, he found solace in that. That was his peace, and knowing that he stood up and stood the test of time. And I'm also getting like stood his ground. That made him feel well. That made him feel good about himself, because he knew he put a good fight. As long as he put up a good fight, that was where his peace resided, okay? So that's what I want you guys to know so far. Let's get into his current situation. Right now, he's feeling the Strength card. This is about inner determination, inner strength, inner will. It's about it's like Leo energy, being very focused on preserving your energy, being very focused on expressing your energy, but also having some sort of self-control as well, in knowing yourself from the inside out and of expressing it to people. Very, very strong energy coming out. No pun intended with the Strength card here, okay? What's his mask? 2 of Pentacles. He wants you guys to see him as juggling. Either juggling some ventures that he wants to pursue right now, that he's focusing on, but it's about having like a busy schedule, because typically the 2 of Pentacles is about trying to find balance, right? In the midst of your resources, you have multiple things you have to schedule. You have your finances that you have to schedule. You have to book certain things. You have to book a flight, for instance, is what I'm seeing, like booking a flight to travel, maintaining your schedule, you know, when you have to see a number of people on a timetable. I'm hearing timetable. I feel like he just has a lot of things on his timetable right now. Let's see what else is coming through. What is his self-image though? The Sun. He sees himself as very bright. I'm hearing starry-eyed. I feel like he's a very young person in spirit. Despite going through a lot of times where he's had to defend himself and had to stand up for himself and his rights, I feel like he has a very youthful countenance about him and a youthful energy about him. He has this inner joy. I feel like this is an inner child card for me in the deck. Very open to experience. You see how the child's arms are outstretched. He's outstretched and open. Despite being defensive, he's not defensive in a way where he closes off to people. It's more so he opens up to people. And he's willing to let you see who he is, truly for who he is. And he stands on that. That's the defensiveness. That's like saying, you know, I know who I am. With the Strength card, that makes me feel like that's his energy. I'm going to stand by and stand on what I know about myself, and I'm not going to let anyone tell me different. That's the energy I'm getting from him. What are his obstacles though, and why did we have 3? So let's see. Emperor in reverse is the first one. His obstacle is the Emperor in reverse. I think he likes control. So something that he might need to work on is letting things go a little bit more. I feel like he needs to kind of open up to, there's like this nurturing energy that needs to come in that might be stifling something. So I feel like there's so much potential in this energy in him. So Niall is going to be doing something big, but I feel like what they're trying to tell him, which is why he gets, I think, 3, is because it's so important for him to know these 3 things. He needs to open up to the possibilities, and I feel like when you're a little too firm with the Emperor card, you end up being a little unstable and destabilized because you're trying to make things happen. I feel like he needs to let go of the reins a little bit. Okay, I think that'll make a huge difference because you have to do everything in balance and in flow and flux. You can't just be too controlling, because when things don't go right, you're going to end up getting really upset. You're going to get really hurt. Okay, the Fool in reverse is also here. So there's some times where he can be, what's interesting is his energy here. We're getting 2 reversals for his challenge. This makes me feel like, I feel like the Fool in reverse is someone who's willing to start over a lot. So he needs to have, like, be careful with starting over on something a lot or throwing something away. There's something about him having some projects or some music that he could produce or share with the world, but he's always ending it or throwing it out. I would not be surprised if he had a lot of unreleased tracks that were really good, but he keeps throwing them out because they don't fit his vibe or fit like completely who he is. I feel like there's some things that he tends to throw out. It's like the baby, throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I feel like there's some really cool things that he could show people, but I feel like those projects were thrown out prematurely. We also have the 5 of Pentacles. He needs to be very careful of leaving other people out in the dark or isolating himself too much. I feel like when he's in a very authoritative energy, he tends to close out on people or close people out and but he tends to have this thing where people feel left out by him, and in turn, because of that, he feels left out, and he doesn't understand why. It's because the people around you are sensing that you're in this mood, like, of creative energy. When you're a creator, sometimes you tend to close people out in order to understand and think, and I feel like he does that a lot to understand his art and to understand his music and his process. So he just needs to be careful of isolating too much, because you could find inspiration in the people around you if you would open your eyes more. He probably sees that but doesn't value it enough in comparison to his isolation. Isolation is okay in balance, all in balance. Weird, something just moved. All right. Weird. So I guess that's confirmation. So weird. Okay, let's keep moving. Next card we have here is, what is his trajectory if he remains on his current path? We have the Moon in reverse, things becoming clear. Typically the Moon is about illusions, secrets, okay? Things that you're not able to see clearly. I feel like he's going to begin to see things very clearly now. Something's going to be open to him, and I'm hearing ushered into him, like his creative process, when he allows people in, allows people to see his process, or something about incorporating other people's opinions and thoughts, not to where they take over, but just in where they assist him in understanding. I feel like he finds solace in himself a lot, and that comes from strength, inner strength, determination, when there are people that oppose you. Now he has people that want to support him, so now he doesn't need to isolate. So that's coming through. I feel like he needs to flow a bit more and welcome in the abundance that's his. I feel like he is now in the midst of some feminine energies. If you notice Niall being around more feminine energies, male or female, okay? Energies are, very fluid. If you see him around more feminine energies, it's because his life, he needs some feminine energy in order to attack or address his creative process. So he's finding that in himself, but he needs to experience the feminine energy more. Okay, so I don't know what that was. Kind of creeped out, I'm not gonna lie. All right, Spirit, what else is coming through? We have the Five of Wands. Yeah, it's like this, the Five of Wands, they're not fighting each other to hurt each other, but there's some conflicting energies surrounding his process. And that might just be his inner conflict, his inner critic that they're trying to talk about here. What would you like to say about this Five of Wands? Why is this card here? Well, we have a star flipped over, as well as the Six of Cups and the Queen of Swords. Yeah, there's some clarity that's coming to him. When he looks at shooting for the stars, shooting for the best possible outcome of his music, of his projects, of everything, there's something about a sweetness coming in with his past. Something about his past music, past projects that he kind of threw out or relinquished. Something about that being something that will really encourage him. If he's going through any creative blocks because of this imbalance with his masculine and feminine energies, I feel really strongly that he'll find it when he decides to open up to something in the past. Past energy, nostalgia. I feel like he might close off from that. I feel like he's always moving forward, and I think there's something about going back to something in the past that was really sweet. Oh, yeah. Eight of Wands in reverse. Okay, so when I see the Eight of Wands in reverse, that's telling me that's like a lack of communication. Something that was not said, something that is not known to us, I think, as the viewers or fans. High Priestess in reverse, some mistake. There's something that he made a mistake on or was not intuitive about in the past that's coming back. And there's a need for him to pursue it. He's not expecting this, but it's going to require a departure from something that he's currently doing. He needs to go back to the something else here. Ace of Swords. Yeah, I feel really strongly like they're just saying this like straightforward. He needs to go back to something that he thought was a big mistake or embarrassing, because it's actually something that's going to, if he acknowledges it, it's going to help him greatly. Okay, so I'm feeling like I need to get a healing card for him right now in his energy. What healing messages do you have for Niall, Spirit? It's all good. Something about, it's like opening up to the past and opening up to the energies of the past and like embarrassing moments of the past and his creative process and who he was is going to help him. There's something about him also honoring his energy and his time. He needs to denote or devote, I should say, devote more time to himself. I feel like there's some lessons in his experiences right now. There's always lessons, but there's something about him opening up to love and opening up to the feminine energy inside of him that seems to be kind of like muted a bit. There's something about people around him giving him or helping him see that feminine energy in himself. So honoring his energy will help open him up to that feminine energy. And we have 14. Look at that, guys. We have 18, 15, and 14. So there's something about honoring his energy, about letting people teach him. Letting his lessons of the past with the Six of Cups earlier teach him, and seeing that everything is a cycle. Okay, you don't truly lose yourself in the cycle. You might feel like that, but you are that person that you were back then and more. You're always growing and manifesting and metamorphosizing. It's just accepting parts of yourself that you thought were embarrassing. Something like that is coming through. And look at that, guys. Bottom of the deck is feminine energy. Emotional release. He needs to cry or open up to the thought of crying. I feel like he holds on to his emotions really strongly when he feels like he should. Of course, he doesn't have to force it. And sacred space. Finding a sacred space to emote on something that happened in the past, something that he hasn't grieved. What has he not grieved, Spirit? What has he not grieved? Slow but steady. Something that happened way too fast. Number 3 is here. That's transformation. He needs to grieve his process, like of going so fast or being in the limelight of going through life so quickly as a youth or as a young person. It's interesting how I'm saying it. It sounds really Scottish. It's like, I feel like he has this energy of going through so many things so fast and he hasn't gotten a chance to slow down. There's a need for him to slow down and to open up to his feminine energy and to release and emote for all of the things that he felt like he lost in the past. With time going so quickly, you know, he didn't get to really enjoy the certain moments that are coming up to his recollection. So that is what I have for you guys today. I hope this helps you gain a better picture of what he's currently going through. Please like, share, and subscribe for more. And of course, check out my personal readings that I do by checking out my description box below for more information. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care.